Leslie, it seems also to me that the world is focusing very much on the articulation between China and the West, China and the United States of America. But we live in a world which is multipolar. And I would like to tell us more about the pandemic from an African perspective.
Africa is, of course, a very large continent. It has 1.2 billion people. It has 54 countries. Africa has one advantage, that the pandemic hit the shores of Africa only after it has spread throughout many parts of the world. Therefore, our governments and policymakers, our public health care and private health industry have been able to learn the lessons from the rest of the world. As you know, previous pandemics suggest that the poorest of the poor have always been the hardest hit. Therefore, Africa has to be very careful to contain this pandemic before it explodes. As you know, the continent has experienced significant social and economic progress over the last 20 years. We have today, or certainly prior to the pandemic, 6 out of the top 10 fastest growing economies in the world are indeed from Africa. So we run this real risk that a lot of the significant progress could be reversed if we do not deal with this in a decisive manner.
We know very well that the Bretton Woods system was a product to a certain extent of a major tragedy, the Second World War. We might have an opportunity to go to a kind of Bretton Woods 2.0. What do you think about this, Leslie?
Often take for granted the role that multilateral institutions have played over the last 70 years, in the 7 decades after the end of the Second World War. Many of these institutions, underpinned by the Bretton Woods foundations, laid the basis for long-term peace and prosperity. The danger now is to return to a more inward-looking approach towards protectionism, almost a law of the jungle, where people only look after their own national interest. So in many respects, multilateralism is an antidote against protectionism. Multilateralism is so important. The opportunity, therefore, in the current moment is to reinvigorate multilateralism and to build a new platform for the new era. Because what the current pandemic has done is exposed the fragility of the current system in many of the institutions as they exist. So yes, indeed, there are significant improvements required to make the institutions more effective.
We have used bamboo as a metaphor for resilience. So we are inviting people to think about the nature of the bamboo.
David, I agree fully with your metaphor about the bamboo. Bamboo does not only represent something durable and something strong, but it has also within it, as you know, elements of flexibility and elasticity, if you like. The most outstanding quality of the bamboo, as you know, really is the fact that its roots grows horizontally. So its roots interconnect with other roots around it. And I would use those roots as a metaphor for what the global system really represents. We are all connected as a globe, as a human society. There are a number of values that underpins those essential foundations. So what the bamboo represents really is that our ability to, based on our reliance on those values, we'll be able to withstand storms if those foundations are strong. In sum, the strength, the durability, and the flexibility of the bamboo represents the essence of what a new global system ought to rely on, provided that it is built on those foundations of the interconnectedness of our society.